The Actresses of the 1980s Part 2 showed us the power, beauty, and diversity of Hollywood's brightest stars. Some became icons of cult, The Accidental Tourist, and later starred in classics like Thelma and Louise. Beyond acting, she is a strong advocate for gender equality in media through the Gina Davis, the latter earning her an Academy Award nomination. Known for her versatility and tall, striking presence, Davis quickly became one of the most admired actresses of the 7 years old. Andie MacDowell continues to work steadily in film and television, with notable roles in projects like Maid, 2021. Admired for her timeless 90s role as Audrey Horne, fans appreciate her beginnings in the 1980s, where she established herself as a captivating and unforgettable screen presence. Andie MacDowell, Sherilyn Fenn continues to act in television and film, with appearances in shows like Shameless and Twin Peaks: The Return. Though she is most remembered for her early 19s. At 66 years old, Jamie Lee Curtis remains a Hollywood powerhouse. She has earned acclaim for her roles in True Lies, Knives Out, and her return to the Halloween franchise beyond horror, becoming one of the most bankable and respected actresses of the decade, with her charm, wit, and undeniable screen presence, occasionally in independent films and television. Despite challenges in her career, she remains a beloved cult figure, especially among fans of Blade Runner. Her and unique ability to captivate audiences in both European and Hollywood cinema during her peak years. Sean Young became a defining face of 1980s sci-fi of the 1980s. Though her on-screen appearances have slowed, her legacy as an international star remains intact. Fans still celebrate her artistry, beauty, a billionaire Tony wrestler. Though she acts less frequently, she remains beloved for her 1980s roles, with fans remembering her charm and contributions to the era's before. With her beauty, charm, and emotional presence, Gertz became a memorable face of the decade, establishing herself as one of Hollywood's reliable and captive producing, expanding her creative contributions beyond acting. Though she is best remembered for her 1980s roles, fans admire her continued artistry and the Alive, and At Close Range, 1986. Known for her nuanced performances, Masterson's ability to bring depth to complex characters made her one of the decade's 1986, showcasing her versatility. With her natural charm and expressive acting, she became one of the decade's most beloved and enduring stars. Notable performances that shaped 1980s cinema. Jennifer Grey became an icon of the 1980s, thanks to her role as Baby in Dirty Dancing, 1987. For her charm, vulnerability, and determination, Griffith became one of the decade's most admired actresses, embodying the spirit of ambition and resilience that defined. Her chemistry with Patrick Swayze and her memorable performance turned the film into a cultural phenomenon that still resonates today. Grey also appeared in Ferris Bueller's Day Off in 1980s Hollywood. At 68 years old, Melanie Griffith remains a celebrated figure in Hollywood. Though she works less frequently, her legacy as the star of working. At 65 years old, Jennifer Grey continues to be celebrated for her timeless role in Dirty Dancing. She has appeared in television projects and competitions, in 80s legend. Mary Stuart Masterson carved out her place in the 1980s with her memorable role in Some Kind of Wonderful, 1987, including winning Dancing with the Stars. Fans continue to associate her with one of cinema's most romantic and iconic films, ensuring her place as a cherished 19 young actresses. At 59 years old, Jamie Gertz is known for her work in television and film, but also as one of the wealthiest women in America, thanks to her marriage to standout young actresses. At 59 years old, Mary Stuart Masterson continues to work in film, television, and theater. She has also pursued directing and playing the tomboyish Watts. She won hearts with her vulnerability and strength, becoming a symbol of the era's teen cinema. She also appeared in Heaven Help Us, 1985. Authenticity she brings to every project she takes on. Jamie Gertz rose to prominence in the 1980s with her standout performance in The Lost Boys, 1987, and her international acclaim. Throughout the decade, she embraced both art house and mainstream projects, establishing herself as a daring actress, unafraid to take risks, and wide recognition in Cat People, 1982, where her striking performance left audiences fascinated. Kinski also appeared in Tess, 1979, which was and fantasy, with her unforgettable role as Rachel in Blade Runner, 1982. Her striking look and cool, enigmatic performance made her status as a star in the late 1970s and carried that success into the 1980s with diverse roles. After her horror breakthrough in Halloween, 1978, iconic. She also starred in films like No Way Out, in 1987, and Wall Street, 1987, proving her range. Though sometimes surrounded by Hollywood controversies, Young's undeniable talent and screen presence made her one of the most talked about actresses of the decade. Now 65 years old, Sean Young works. She showed her comedic chops in Trading Places, 1983, and action flair in Perfect, 1985. Dubbed the Scream Queen, she proved her versatile yet vulnerable performances set her apart, preparing her for her breakthrough in the early 1990s as Audrey Horne in David Lynch's Twin Peaks. Now 60 years old, industry legend. Sherilyn Fenn began her career in the 1980s with small roles before gaining attention in films like Just One of the Guys, 1985. Famously dubbed, her presence was undeniable. By the end of the decade, she gained critical acclaim with Sex, Lies, and Videotape, 1989, which won her international recognition. MacDowell's natural charm and sophistication made her a rising star and one of the decade's most promising actresses. At 60, Gina Davis burst onto the Hollywood scene in the 1980s with memorable performances that showcased her wit, beauty, and charisma. She appeared in Beauty and Grace. She has also become an advocate for aging naturally in Hollywood. Fans celebrate her as a versatile actress who moved from 1980s promise to lasting career success, Academy Award nomination, and a Golden Globe win. Before that, she had already built her career with roles in films like Body Double, 1984. Known used to inspire audiences today. Melanie Griffith made her biggest mark in the late 1980s with Working Girl, 1988, where her performance as Tess McGill earned her in film and television. She is admired not only for her acting, but also for her accomplishments as a director. Fans still treasure her performances from the Back to the Future opposite Tom Cruise in Risky Business, 1983. Her beauty, confidence, and screen presence immediately drew attention, and she quickly became her ability to handle both provocative and dramatic roles, solidifying her place as a bold and captivating star of the 1980s. Now 66 years old, admired for her authenticity and resilience, Ryder remains a beloved star whose influence spans from the 1980s cult classics to today's pop culture phenomena. Performances in Heathers, 1989, and Great Balls of Fire, 1989, establishing herself as the ultimate outsider-turned-star. With her striking look and unconventional choices, Ryder became one of the most influential young actresses of the decade. At 53 years old, Winona Ryder continues to enjoy beginnings and see how their lives and legacies shine today. Winona Ryder burst onto the Hollywood scene in the late 1980s with her unique presence and edgy roles.